Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah.
We seek refuge in Allah from our lower selves and from the wrongs that we sometimes commit. Now, a few months ago we spoke about ikhlas, and we said that ikhlas has to do with sincerity and with good intention. And we mentioned the surah ikhlas, which is called Wallahu Ahad, where Allah talks about sincerity in belief and how one has to state vehemently that there is only one deity that's worthy of worship. But also ikhlas is part of our character. It's the way we engage with people, it's how we speak to people in terms of sincerity and unambiguous statements. And we also said that sincerity is an ingredient to be successful, to have a successful life, to have a stress-free life, because when you are sincere, then you have nothing to defend. It's when you're lying and when you're hypocritical about your ways that you have to defend that all the time. And we also mentioned the verse in which Allah says, وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا كُلَّ شَيْءٍ فِي زَوْجَيْنِ, that we have created everything in contrasting duo. So just as you have ikhlas, which is sincerity, you also have Nifaaq, which is hypocrisy. And so that is what we want to talk about today. What is hypocrisy? So when Allah speaks of hypocrisy in the Quran, Allah is very stern and Allah is very clear about the suffering that hypocrites endure in this life and in the next because of their own doings. You can't spot a hypocrite because a hypocrite, he hides his true intentions. So even amongst the Prophet, where Allah says that even amongst your own people there are hypocrites. And when the Prophet traveled to Medina, he thought that when he comes to Medina there's going to be the Ansar, they're going to welcome him, they're going to support him, and Allah says, but even amongst them there are hypocrites. So you can't see who are the hypocrites because they don't reveal their true intentions. When you are righteous, you are also expected to be non-judgmental, to be all-embracing, and also the Quran teaches us that even suspicions in some cases is a sin. So as a Muslim, you can't judge somebody and say he's a hypocrite. You have to take what they give you, and so therefore it's important that when you engage with people that you engage truthfully with them and not judge them. But the hypocrites use this as almost a sort of weakness that the believer have, so that they can mess around with the believers. So this is like abuse of the righteous. And Allah says in the Quran that He declares war against hypocrites because they ill-treat the believers who He has established as His friends. Also what comes out of this verse in the Quran is the nature of the hypocrite. And the nature of the hypocrite is used in the Arabic word marada. And marada means to be rebellious, to defy customs or rules, to plaster over something. Like if you have a hole in the wall, you don't want anybody to see it, so you plaster over it. So that's the nature of a hypocrite. To be arrogant and overbearing. In fact, a mutamarrid is a person who loves to stir up things and to create mutiny. So this is all qualities of a hypocrite. Then another message that comes out of this verse is a hypocrite is a sore loser because they are inauthentic, and so they suffer on the first level because they experience pain by lying and then having to cover up those lies and then to tell a lie to cover up another lie. They are unhappy people who use sly means to find happiness, and they suffer on a second level, the Quran says, by losing a reputation. Because now, obviously when somebody is found out that you're a hypocrite, they don't want to be friends with you. So you develop a reputation. And then they suffer on the third level because Allah says even in the year after, they will lose out. So it really sounds like a bad investment to be a hypocrite. It's better to be a person who engages life with sincerity. Now, even in our Western context, in business practices, for example, they encourage us to have this hypocritical nature. For example, Oscar Wilde, he said as early as the 1900s, he said, "A little sincerity is a dangerous thing, and a great deal of it is absolutely fatal." So actually saying that to be too sincere can actually cause you problems in society. So saying completely the opposite of what the Quran is saying. And George Bernard Shaw said, "It is dangerous to be sincere unless you are also stupid." So saying that when you are sincere, it's tantamount to being stupid. There's another interesting saying by Harry Truman. He says, "Always be sincere, even if you don't mean it." But yet the Quran says you have to be sincere from the heart. So what does the Quran say around sincerity? It says, "Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu ittaqullaha wa qulu qawlan sadida yuslih lakum a'malakum wa yaghfir lakum dhunubakum wa man yuti'illaha wa rasulahu faqad faza fawzan 'azima." Allah says, "Oh, you who have attained to faith, remain conscious of Allah and always speak a word direct and straight to the point." So no ambiguity in your speech. And Allah says, if you do this, Allah will cause your deeds to be virtuous, to rectify your deeds, and Allah will forgive you your shortcomings. And know that whoever pays heed unto Allah and His Apostle has already attained a mighty success. Then Allah says further, "Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu kunu qawwamina bil qisti shuhada'a lillah walau ala anfusikum aw lil walidayn aw al aqrabin in yakun ghaniyan aw faqir wallahu awla bihima فلا تتبعوا الهوى أن تعدلوا وإن تولوا أو تعرضوا فإن الله كان بما تعملون خبيرا." Allah says that, "Oh, you who have attained to faith, establish yourself with justice as a witness to Allah, even if it has to be against yourself, or your parents, or your loved ones, and even if they have to be rich or poor, because Allah can best protect both. And do not follow your own desires in this regard of justice, and if you distort it or incline to do it, Allah is well acquainted with all that you do." So this is just another means of where Allah is encouraging us to be faithful, to be sincere in our speech and our actions, and to be unambiguous when we speak to people. Hypocrisy and disbelief are also very closely connected in the Quran. Often when Allah speaks about the munafiq, Allah also speaks about the kafir, the hypocrite and the disbeliever. And again, I need to reiterate that the kafir is not a Christian or a Jew, because they are part of the people of the book, so they don't fall under kafir. Even somebody who says that I don't believe in God, or I don't have enough proof in God, he is not a kafir. A kafir, according to the Quran, is somebody who openly challenges and contests the fact that there is only one Allah. For example, in the time of the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he was not allowed to make war unless there were people that were making war against him. So it's open violation of the establishment of one God. Now, a Muslim is encouraged to question, and we've said this over and over in our personal empowerment programs, in previous khutbahs, but we have to be careful what kind of questioning do we have. What is the motivation behind our questioning? Are we questioning for clarity? Are we questioning because we want to sincerely know about something? Or are we questioning because we want to rebel against something? Or we want to create discord? And Allah says, for indeed Allah knows best what is in the hearts. Barakallahu li wa lakum fil Quran al-Kareem. Then the Nabi Muhammad ﷺ said, Ayatul Munafiq Thalatha, that there are 3 signs of a hypocrite. إِذَا تَكَلَّمَ كَذَبَ, when he speaks, he lies. وَإِذَا وَعْدَ أَخْلَفَ, and when they promise, they break their promise. وَإِذَا اؤْتُمِنَ خَانَ, and if they were entrusted with something, they break the trust. The Nabi Muhammad also said that the 2 most difficult prayers for the hypocrite is the Fajr prayer and the Isha prayer. Now I noticed this at air. You can see what the people that come for Fajr do. And the Nabi Muhammad ﷺ also compared the munafiq, the hypocrite, to a fragrant plant which has a bitter taste. So you smell it, it smells very nice, but when you taste it, it's actually poisonous. And Imam Hazari radiallahu anh says, a man said to Huzaifa, I fear Allah, for perhaps I become a munafiq. And Huzaifa replied, if you were a munafiq, you would not have feared Nifaaq, meaning hypocrisy. Verily a munafiq does not fear hypocrisy. Only a mu'min fears hypocrisy, and only a munafiq feels secure. So a true Muslim is one who fears to have the qualities of hypocrisy. And when they see any of these qualities of hypocrisy within themselves, they become very self-critical and they amend their ways. While the munafiq, they don't really care. They don't fear if they have these qualities of hypocrisy. And so we ask Allah to protect us from this nifaaq, from hypocrisy, and to grant us the ability to recognize and to change qualities of hypocrisy when we notice it in ourselves. Allahumma ansur man nasara dina Muhammad, Allahumma ansur mujahidina fi kulli makan, Allahumma yassir wa la tu'assir, Allahumma tammim bil khayr wa anta al-karim muyassir. O Allah, assist us, or assist those who assist the cause of Muhammad. O Allah, assist all those who strive towards good in every place. O Allah, make things easy for us and remove difficulty from us. O Allah, complete us in goodness. Truly you are the most noble of those who provide.